Have you ever just had that gut feeling that someone was playing with your mind? Like they're pulling strings and you're the puppet? Well, today, we're going to crack open the manipulator's playbook. We're going to show you exactly how they do it, and, more importantly, how you can see it coming a mile away. When you think of control, you probably picture something physical, right? But the most powerful kind of control, the kind that really lasts, it doesn't use bars or locks. It's the kind of control that makes you doubt yourself, makes you feel like you're not good enough or that you can't survive on your own. Those are the invisible chains. It's a prison built inside your own head, so subtle you might not even know you're trapped.
Okay, so how do they actually forge these invisible chains? We're about to pull back the curtain on 3 core plays from their book: rewriting your reality, engineering emotional dependence, and weaponizing the crowd. Let's dive in.
All right, play number 1 in the manipulator's playbook is all about rewriting your reality. The goal here is simple: make you doubt everything you see, hear, and remember until eventually they become your only source of truth. And one of the main tools for this is gaslighting. You've probably heard this term thrown around. It's a nasty form of manipulation where someone deliberately tries to make you question your own sanity. The name actually comes from a 1944 movie, Gaslight, where a husband tries to drive his life crazy by dimming their gas lights and then flat out denying it's happening. And this is a classic gaslighting phrase. By saying you're being dramatic or overanalyzing, the manipulator is brilliantly shifting the blame. Suddenly, the conversation isn't about their bad behavior anymore, it's about your supposedly flawed perception of it. See how that works? Gaslighting isn't something that happens overnight. It's a slow burn, usually in 4 stages. First, they just deny things you know are true. I never said that. Simple. Then they attack your mind with phrases just like the one we saw. Next, your totally valid emotional reactions get dismissed as unreasonable. And finally, the endgame. They try to isolate you from friends and family, making them your one and only trusted source. Now, memory manipulation is a specific type of gaslighting that goes straight for your past. Here's the scary part. Our memory doesn't work like a video camera. It's more like a Wikipedia page that can be edited by us and by others every single time we access it. Because our memories aren't perfect recordings, they can be twisted, or worse, completely fabricated. And if you think this is just a theory, check this out. In the famous Lost in the Mall experiment, researchers were able to plant a completely false memory of being lost in a shopping mall into people's minds, just through the power of suggestion. This shows just how fragile our personal histories are, and it's a tactic used everywhere, from toxic relationships to large-scale disinformation campaigns. So once a manipulator has you questioning your own reality, what's next? Well, the next move is to lock you in emotionally. Play number 2 is all about engineering emotional dependence. They make you feel like you absolutely need them for love, for validation, for survival. That way, you're way less likely to leave, even when things get really bad. It almost always starts with something called love bombing. They'll shower you with this crazy, intense affection to get you hooked. And then, just as suddenly, they pull it all away. This leaves you totally confused and desperate for their approval again. This hot and cold cycle is called intermittent reinforcement, and it works on the exact same principle that gets people hooked on slot machines. You keep pulling that lever, just hoping for the next reward. And then there's the guilt trip. Oh, it's such a classic weapon. A phrase like this one is designed to plant a seed of debt, of obligation. If they can make you feel guilty, they can usually get you to do things you really don't want to do. But shame? Shame is a whole other level. It's a far more powerful weapon because it's not about what you did, it's about who you are. Guilt says, I made a mistake. Shame says, I am a mistake. And when a manipulator can make you feel ashamed of your very core, you start to believe that maybe, just maybe, you deserve the bad treatment. All right, play number 3 is where things go from one-on-one to a group effort. This is about using the power of social pressure to control you. The tactic is to isolate you from your real support system and then make the group the ultimate authority on everything. And look, if you want a truly terrifying, real-world example of this, we have to talk about Jonestown. The leader, Jim Jones, used a devastating mix of isolation, fear, and what some call brainwashing, or coercive persuasion, to convince his followers to move to a remote settlement completely cut off from the outside world. The result was an absolutely unthinkable tragedy.
over 900 people died. It's a chilling reminder of the dangers of groupthink and why it's so critical to hold on to your own judgment, especially when you're under pressure from a charismatic leader. So how does something like this even happen? Well, this kind of coercive persuasion usually follows a four-step process. It starts with total isolation, controlling all information. Then comes destabilization, breaking you down with fear and exhaustion. Next, they indoctrinate you with a new belief system. And finally, they reinforce that new identity with things like group rituals and public confessions. Social pressure can be way more subtle, too. It can exploit weird quirks of human psychology, like the bystander effect. This is that strange thing where the more people who see an emergency, the less likely any single person is to help. Everyone just assumes someone else will step up. A clever manipulator can use this to isolate their target in plain sight. Okay, so we've seen the playbook, we've looked at the tactics. Now for the most important part. How do you recognize the game and how do you protect yourself? So here are some major red flags you need to watch out for. Are you being pressured to just accept things and not ask questions? Are you slowly being cut off from your friends or family? Is your life a constant emotional roller coaster? Do you feel like you're always competing for approval? And the biggest one of all, if you ever feel like your own mind is being turned against you, it is time to get some outside perspective.
So what's your counterplay? It really boils down to three key lines of defense. First, awareness. Just knowing these tactics exist is a huge part of the battle. Second, always get multiple perspectives. Talk to a trusted friend, a family member, anyone. A manipulator's power crumbles when they're not your only source of information. And third, check in with your own emotions. When you feel a sudden rush of guilt or fear or even overwhelming love, just pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way and who benefits from it?
Ultimately, the best defense against manipulation is trusting yourself. Knowing these tactics is one thing, but validating your own perceptions, your own reality, that's how you make sure that you, and only you, are the one holding the pen to your own story. Thanks for tuning in.